Nelson, thank you, and Brent, congratulations. Before I get on with the ceremony, I thought I'd introduce my replacement. Some of you weren't here earlier, but Ginny Rometty will become the 9th CEO of IBM, the 9th in our 100-year history, effective January of 2012. Mrs. Rometty. So it's wonderful having the succession now announced and shortly completed. Anyway, with that, I have a great honor, and Brent, congratulations to you as well for winning the award. It's great fun for me, quite honestly, to be able to, as the first winner of the Deming Cup, announce this, I guess, two, so the third, technically, since we're going in alphabetical order, Sergio. Winner, Sergio Marchionne, as you know, who really needs no introduction. His litany of accomplishments are just absolutely phenomenal. I love him because he's so straightforward. He's such a good friend. You know, he really is a legend as far as modern business is concerned. You all know he took an alien European giant in Fiat and made it into a thriving leader. He repeated that performance, so he does have an act two. Of those of you who heard my earlier conversation about IBM's 100th earlier, he does have act two. He repeated it in what Newsweek called the Chrysler miracle, which is absolutely unbelievable considering where Chrysler was when he went in and took over the situation versus where it is today. What I like to highlight is not what Sergio did, but more on how he did it. And there's an article in the Harvard Business Review in 2008 that Sergio described his management approach, and I'd like to quote from that. He said, "We've abandoned the great man model of leadership, long characterized Fiat, and have created a culture where everyone is expected to lead." Sergio, I can't tell you how much I smile at reading that. It is so refreshing. It is so sincere and so honest. I like it not just because we're both Italian descent. He's also Italian-Canadian, Italian-Swiss, and Italian-Italian. I can only claim to be Italian-American. I don't have the legacy or the number of passports for that matter, but nonetheless, it's incredible, that statement, and also not just our affinity given nationality, that we're also both liberal arts majors in engineering cultures. And the fact that we've survived that is also pretty incredible. But beyond that, I think we're connected at a much deeper level, and that we both have this common insight and this common view that I will say that the CEO is not the company. The CEO is really not the brand. And yes, there's tremendous interest about this cult of the CEO and elevate the CEO and the culture of inspirational leadership and the powerful lore. And you've heard me say before, everybody loves to write about it, trade upon it, and makes everything possible to describe it as something that it really isn't. And I would say that this romantic attachment to this charismatic leader is quite the opposite of what's required to be successful in running a large industrial company that's been around for very, very long periods of time. And I guess, as Sergio said, it's not everyone waiting for enlightenment, for the guru to come down from the mountaintop, and actively get engaged. He's saying, no, it's not about that. It's about the tablets don't need to come down from Mount Sinai, or Torino, I guess, or Detroit in modern terminology. Basically, the argument goes, everybody has a role in transformation, everybody has a dynamic role in leadership, and if you're going to run a complex, large, evolving organism, such as Fiat or Chrysler or any other ones represented in this room, you need to have everyone participating in that lead and making that happen. And I think that's certainly Sergio's approach. A couple of his characteristics: when he took over at Fiat, he went out and visited the sites, the manufacturing facilities, spent time with all the people. He got to know the people, connected with the people. He goes through months of work, 4 or 5 months a year, going through the top 700 performers, personal evaluation so he understands all the people that are making great contributions to his company. Another example of him putting down the great man theory and putting it to rest was what he did at Chrysler. When he took over, I don't know if any of you have been in some of the headquarters facilities of the automotive companies in Detroit. Many of us have, but they have these phenomenal structures that are quite impressive, and they have these big executive floors. We don't have those at IBM, I'm proud to say. But nonetheless, if we were in Detroit, we might, but we're not. We're in Armonk. There's no such thing as a tower. But Sergio didn't move up to the posh corner office. He put himself in the middle of the engineering department and went to work. And is known for connecting, out-of-the-box thinking, great branding, phenomenal genius of branding, and he's done a great job of turning around a situation. The other thing I admire about him, he pays back his debts. That's phenomenal. For Italians to pay back what they owe. I mean, both of us can relate to this. I mean, I won't go, this other Mediterranean countries are having a hard time paying back what they owe. But nonetheless, the fact that he was willing to do that and made the comment he made on TV, to this day, I can't forget. I was watching the television. He said, "Why are you Americans so surprised that I'd pay back somebody I owed money to?" I mean, I just said, wow, you know, right? This is, and of course, all these people are taking a bow for lending the money to Chrysler to bail him out. And he's very modestly saying, well, it's my job to raise the money and pay you back. I mean, what else would you expect me to do? Not exactly distribute the debt to the rest of the shareholders or the taxpayers, for that matter, in this example. So, great guy. I mean, a great friend, great guy, understands taking risk, manages for the long term, doesn't put himself above the institution, understands quality improvement, stepping up, doing what's necessary, and solving complex problems. I think everybody would agree that he's living in the spirit of the Deming Award. So please join me in congratulating my good friend Sergio Marchionne and also the winner of the award. Thank you.